I have been sent from Berlin to give you a dressing down.
Yes, sir.
RAF airmen are still escaping.
Yes, sir.
Berlin is very concerned. On the other hand, I think that all things considered, we are not doing too badly. Most of them don't escape. Do sit down.
Thank you, sir.
You have read this?
Yes, it came for my comments. But I don't know the background.
I tell you. It was written by one James P. Ames, an American airman who volunteered for the Royal Air Force on the outbreak of war. I suppose he pretended he was a Canadian like the others. He was shot down somewhere over Belgium. He was then smuggled out through Spain. It must have taken some time because he'd been injured. When he got back to England, they had to amputate an arm. He then went home to America. I suppose he must have been some kind of local celebrity. Anyway, the Saturday Evening Post approached him for his story. This thing. Written obviously with the help of a ghostwriter.
Yeah, it reads quite well.
It arrived at the Saturday Evening Post. The British intelligence people got to hear about it. Panicked and stopped it being published.
How did we get it, sir?
The British aren't the only people with an intelligence organization in America. What do you make of it?
Well, it's been altered. He says at the beginning, I've changed the names of people and places, I've altered descriptions. Many brave men and women risked their lives to help me escape, and I must protect them from the Nazis as they protected me. On the other hand, he's a babe unborn.
Go on, Major.
I think he's given away more than he knows.
Hi there. Coffee,
Lisa.
please. How's Andre?
Oh, just the same as usual, I'm afraid. Another?
Hey.
Would you like another beer?
No.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Good day. One beer, 1 hour. Now, you've been here an hour and a half.
Can't I just sit here?
I'm sorry. It's getting near the time when I'm busy.
Give my regards to your wife.
Yes, I will.
Both of them.
Monique. Pilot Officer Daly?
Yes?
Sergeant Wright?
Yeah.
Come with me. Thank you.
Get me Oberst Stop. Now, he'll be at his hotel by now. Yes? Oberst Stop. It's my brand, sir. Yes, I'm still working at it. Thank you, sir. I think I found a number of possibilities. Well, what I'd really like is permission to go down to the Spanish border area. No, I think I could work out where the actual frontier crossing is if I was given enough time. Well, yes, it would mean being away from the work here, but... Well, thank you, sir. That's very kind of you. Oh, no, of course, I'll put in a full report. Yes, sir. Good night.
No. That is exactly what you don't do. At no time do you pretend to understand anyone who speaks to you in German.
That won't be difficult.
The only language you understand is Serbo-Croat.
But suppose we meet someone who speaks Serbo-Croat.
Then you've been very unlucky. Now, what is it you say?
Ja sam Blatzo Gigov. Mi smo obojca Jugoslovenski radnici.
Which means?
I'm Blatzo Gigov. We are both Yugoslav workers.
Yes. And where are you going to work?
On the submarine docks at San Jose.
Just say Saint-Nazaire. If anyone asks you anything more, you go back to your 2 sentences.
But nothing more?
No, nothing more. Now, I'll be with you on the train for the whole journey. Don't look at me. Do you understand? Don't ever look at me. I'll be keeping an eye on you.
Good evening, gentlemen. The usual. I
Do you get many of us out? I mean, what are our chances?
Very good. We got 32 out last month and 18 the month before.
They took my watch. They gave me this one
They
instead.
took mine as well, I suppose. I wanted
It
to
would
sell
be difficult for a Yugoslav worker to explain away an English watch.
You better go now.
How many Germans are there out in the bar?
4, but they're quite a bit drunk.
Now, Monique has a curfew pass. You haven't, so keep about 10 metres behind her.
What if they stopped?
There's a plant making cylinder heads just down the street. In 8 minutes, the shifts change, so there'll be a lot of workers milling about. Just mix in with them.
And wherever I go, you follow at 10 metres, all right?
Right.
Denn du kannst mein Herz Ich muss vergessen, was du mir bist, denn es mir auch noch so schwer. Ich weiß, dass ich was Ewigkeit ist.
Good night, dear.
I was terrified in case a German spoke to us.
Yes, remember that bloke on the train, one with a big moustache? He kept on offering us things to eat. He had a dialect cut with a knife. I couldn't understand a word he was saying.
Would you like some of this? I made it myself. You answer that. You stay quiet. Shh. Quiet.
Sophie, this is Pilot Officer Daly.
How do you do, ma'am?
How do you do?
Sergeant Wright.
Pleased to meet you.
How do you do? Come into the kitchen and meet my sister.
Thank you.
This is my sister, Madeline.
How do you do, ma'am? Oh, sorry.
How do you do?
How do you do, ma'am?
How do you do?
I do.
I'm Peter Daly, pilot officer. This is Sergeant Tommy Wright.
Hello.
Baker, George Baker. Only everyone calls me Bert for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
How do you do?
I'm Billy Hopkins, sergeant.
Hello, Billy.
Hello.
Did you come on the train then?
Sophie, where did those 2 men come from?
Well, dear, they
No,
arrived
I'll
this
answer
morning.
that. Oh, give them some of your wretched
All
cake.
right, Madeline, can you tell me where they came
Well,
from?
you see, you must
But I
listen to me.
always thought you liked my seed
Oh, you
cake.
never asked me.
Madeline?
Albert telephoned.
Yes.
Chirac's house has been raided by the Boche. Well, there was nowhere else to send those 2. Justin brought them here half an hour ago.
Have you checked up on them?
No, I haven't.
You mean you just accepted them?
Well, Justin said they were all right.
What about Chirac?
I don't know.
I'll have to telephone Albert.
My mother always used to make it for us on Sundays. It was so nice then.
It's absolutely
Not bad
delicious.
now, thank you.
Smashing cake.
You speak very good English, madame. Mademoiselle. You've been to England?
Oh, many times. Madeline and I used to go regularly every September to Eastbourne.
Oh, Eastbourne's
It's
lovely,
a lovely
isn't it?
place. It made such a nice change.
Lovely
Lovely
beaches, too.
place.
I've always hated Eastbourne.
Well, do you know if the stray cats have their vaccination certificates? All right, I'll check. Albert, you still there? Yes, good. But how long ago was it they were found, do you know? Well, if it was only a couple of days, are they house-trained? All right, I'll do my best. Bye.
Now, would you all prefer red wine with a cassoulet?
No.
We could open a bottle of white.
Whatever's
No,
easiest.
we're keeping that for Christmas.
White,
Yes,
please.
dear.
Can I see the papers you've been given, please?
Is everything satisfactory?
Yes, madam. I'm sorry if I appeared angry, but we just have to be so careful.
Yes, I know. Sophie, supper ready?
But we'll be in a few minutes.
Well, your room's ready. It's the same one.
Here are your papers. They're all right.
Now, you 4, you come with me. I'll show you the bathroom.
I do hope they can stay a little longer than the last boys. We hardly had a chance to get to know them at all. Whatever happened to the one with curly hair and the gap between his 2 front teeth? Do you remember the day when we all
were
sat-
shot.
Come. Come in.
Major Brunt?
Oh, yes.
I'm Inspector Marlowe. I'm told you wanted to see me.
Yes, of course. I'm sorry I wasn't... Please, come in.
How much are you paying Madame Lafoe for this?
20 francs a week.
That's a lot. But about right for a German.
How much would you expect to pay?
10?
Would you like some coffee?
I'd prefer a cognac if you had it.
Yes, of course. Your health.
Yes, well, my health is lousy. I have a patch on one lung.
Tell me, do you know why I'm here?
No, not really. Nobody bothers to tell the French police anything nowadays.
It's Allied prisoners. British airmen, mostly. They're escaping into Spain all along this frontier.
Of course.
It's my job stopping them.
Well, you haven't a chance. Some of them will always get through.
Perhaps, but too many are getting through.
It depends whose side you're on. You know, I'm from Paris. I don't suppose you expected to find a Parisian in charge down here.
No, I didn't.
The police who get posted to the Spanish frontier are the ones who won't fit in. If you're so stupid that even your superiors manage to notice it, then they send you here. Well, they think that the smugglers are always going to succeed, so they might just as well have the competent men where they might actually be useful.
And in your case?
Well, if they resent you, if they think you're too clever by half, then they send you here to break you.
But surely most of the police are local men.
Yes, and corrupt. They're in league with the smugglers. So why shouldn't they be? And a smuggler will pay more for one tip-off than a policeman will earn legally in 6 months. Yeah?
Peace.
Arms, whiskey, cigarettes. At the moment, it happens to be men.
Do you expect to be sent back to Paris one day?
Oh, I hope to. I don't expect anything. Anyway, at the moment, I'd rather be here. Paris has lost everything it ever had. Down here, they never had anything to lose.
Well, now, are you prepared to help me?
Catch smugglers? Yes, of course.
Now, catch airmen.
Airmen I don't care about, but smugglers, yes.
I see.
Tell me, what do you know about our local smugglers?
Not as much as I'd like to.
People think that they're romantic. And they're not. They're vicious, squalid, and greedy. Above all, they're greedy. You know, if you lose the war and you want to get smuggled out into Spain, just you let me know. I can find someone who'll get you across the frontier. For money, of course. But it'll be the same man who's smuggling across those airmen that you're talking about.
I was told they dislike Germans.
Well, they do, but they dislike missing the chance of making money even more.
Do you know who your local smugglers are?
On the frontier, every man, woman, and child is a smuggler. But the professional ones, they're Basques, mostly.
Oh, yes, that is actually what brought me down here. It's an article written for an American magazine. It's about how an airman escaped into Spain. The authors tried to disguise where he was and who helped him, but I think he said enough to give us a few clues. Let me give you an example. Oh, yes, for instance. He says here, it took them just under 2 hours from the time they left the house they were staying in until they crossed the frontier. So, that must mean that the house was at most 10 kilometers from the frontier?
Walking, were they?
No, climbing, they say.
Well, it'll be nothing like 10 kilometers. Be 4 or 5 at the most. The powers these smugglers use, they're goat tracks, really.
Ah. Well, now, they were all the time in occupied France, so that now leaves an area of 50 kilometers by 5.
And you expect to find a house when you don't know where it is within an area of 250 square kilometers?
No, but in all that area, there are only about 30 villages. The house was on the edge of a village.
And didn't he give you its name?
Yes, he did, but it's a made-up name.
Can I take this?
Why?
Well, I'll have it copied. I can let you have it back tomorrow.
Do you think it's possible to work out where they crossed? Where they stayed the night?
Well, I don't know. Haven't read it yet. If you catch any airmen, I want 1,000 francs for each one.
I dare say that can be arranged, as long as it's your work that catches them.
And I'm quite sure it won't be anyone else's.
What if we catch any smugglers?
Basques? Oh, I won't charge you for Basques. That's pleasure.
French smugglers?
I don't take German money for catching Frenchmen.
Monsieur Colbert, Madame. How nice of you to call. Madame Poiret will be so delighted to see you. Come this way.
Gaston, forgive me, madame. We need German ice ice.
Mademoiselle, I presume you wish to speak to my husband privately. Perhaps I might go upstairs and see Madame Poiret?
Yes, of course. Do go straight up. I'm sorry, Gaston. Do sit down. We have a problem. The children with Leloup are going to Switzerland tomorrow afternoon. Claude has no documents for them. They're posing as foreign labourers going to Besançon. We need 6 German Ausweis documents. Can you help?
6? Well, possibly.
First thing in the morning?
I'll try, but there
Thank you. Thank you. Can I pick them up from you outside the Café Max at 10:30?
Very well.
Put them inside your newspapers before.
Give me the names.
And then he says, suddenly to my left, there was a sheer drop where the mountainside disappeared into the darkness. Now, there is a path that the smugglers use. As you can see, that's on the north side of the mountain. That would mean that the drop would be on the right and not on the left.
Now, could it have been around here?
Well, but the next bit says, far below us, a pair of headlights crawled along the zigzag road. German, said my guide tersely. Now, I think that's going to be the road which reaches the frontier here at Arnegi. You can see there aren't any other roads around for about 15 kilometres. And Germans don't use these other roads because they just lead up to mountain villages. And the Arnegi road would fit in with the time they took.
Well, it's starting at night.
Well, late at night. Smugglers don't like to run the risk of bumping into the odd drunken German soldier.
Yes, now, there's something very important about the sun. Ah, yeah. The sun's first rays fell on the outstretched arm of our guide. Down there, he said, is Spain, to meet and freedom. Yes, then 20 minutes later, we staggered into the deserted streets of Paduma. Oh, it's a made-up name. A small town set in a valley. I could have cried when I saw the advertisements in Spanish.
Yes, well, if it really does mean 20 minutes, then they were well inside Spain when the sun's first rays fell on the outstretched arms of his guide.
Yes, well, now, at that time of year, the sun would rise at 4:30.
No, it's later down here. But it takes time to climb up over these mountains. But if this Padoma place really was in a valley, then they must have crossed the frontier at least 2 hours before.
Yes. Now, also, they could see the ocean. As we breasted the top of the pass, there directly ahead of us were the cold waters of the Atlantic Ocean, glittering in the dawn air.
So the pass was heading due north, or almost.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they must have been 20 or 30 kilometres inland. You can still see the Atlantic from there if you're over 2,000 metres up. But if you go further inland, then all you can see are just the tops of other mountains.
Yeah, and finally there's the river. The river that shone below us seemed to me like an arrow pointing west, to liberty and to home.
Yes, well, that has to be the bit of Thurm. You can see that runs west before it turns north into the sea. Now, I think they started somewhere within that area there, yes?
Yes.
Assuming, of course, that the American didn't make the whole thing up.
Yes, assuming that.
Well, I shouldn't think there are more than 1,500 houses in that area. Not counting the odd hut on the mountains.
Well, he has described the house a little.
Yes, I sent a message to the police in the area asking for details of any house answering the description.
What did you say?
I just said that we'd heard that such a house was being used for smuggling. What else?
André seems very depressed. Perhaps Albert should devote more time to her and less to other things.
Well, I'm afraid the cafe needs attending to. Albert won't be very long. Please excuse me.
Now you've hurt her.
I can't see why.
Please, my dear, you're not usually so obtuse.
Well, Gaston, I want you to stop all this. Please. Think of me sometimes. Whenever you're away longer than expected, I go through agonies. It's the same with Lisa. We hardly ever see her these days. What's she doing? Alice would never forgive me if she knew. God rest her. Gaston, how can you let her, your own brother's daughter?
Louise, listen to me. I purposely told you nothing so you're not involved. Lisa is 24. She must do as she thinks fit. I have no right to interfere. My dear, would you have me ignore our country's suffering and just accept these barbarians?
Yes. Yes, Gaston.
All right. Now, what do you make of the descriptions of the people who helped him escape?
We have Dr. Moret, described as tall, fair-haired and elderly. Well, the nearest Moret lives in Bayonne. He's a florist. And then his wife, Françoise, described as petite, and 2 children. There's no sex given, but they were asleep in bed when the American arrived.
Oh, he arrived in time for supper. Described the meal. So presumably they're quite young if they're in bed by then.
And then there's the Basque guy, described as tough, wiry and unshaven. Well, that's a stock figure. Could be anybody.
And finally, the man with the furniture van, who helped them on the last lap to the doctor's house. Now, he's described as young, fair, with a moustache.
Tell me, how many fair-haired men have you seen since you've been down here? You know, I think there are fewer fair-haired men around here than there are Negroes. I've only twice seen a Negro. But of course, when a criminal does want to confuse the police, he sometimes describes people as being exactly the opposite of what they really are. Well, that's one way, at least, in which you can be consistent. So perhaps we ought to think that our Dr. Moret is really small, dark, and young. That'd fit in better with the young children anyway, as elderly doctors don't tend to have them. Petite Francoise will probably be big, probably even bigger than her husband.
Agreed. Now, also, the American writes about having to visit a patient. I mean the doctor having to visit a patient. Otherwise, the people in the village would have been suspicious, you remember? So, presumably, he is a doctor of medicine.
Oh, perhaps.
Well, how many doctors are there in the area?
4 or 5.
Can you check it?
Yes, but not through the police. They would only get back if I started asking questions about doctors.
If you're right about the descriptions, the man with the furniture van who's...
Well, they don't use furniture vans around here. Just any lorry that happens to be available. So I think we should be looking for a lorry driven by an old, dark, and almost certainly clean-shaven man.
Now. Now, the man who owns this farm doesn't know about you. As soon as I've gone, make sure there's nobody about, then down to the end of the track, through the gate and into the field. It's opposite the barn, the gate. But it's in full view of anybody working in the orchard. So be careful.
I'm sorry, you'll have to excuse me.
Once you're through the gate, there is a hedge on your left which hides you. Follow the hedge till you come to a stream at the bottom. Understood?
Down the track, right to the gate opposite. Keep to the hedge on the left, and there's a stream.
Walk along the stream. If you keep in it, it is half a meter deep at most, then you cannot be seen.
Yeah, which direction?
The right, the way the stream flows. After about 400 meters, there is a picket gate and a path on your left. Go through there, and in 300 meters, you come to the back of a house. They are expecting you.
Got it.
Good luck.
Last lap now. You know, we didn't thank that froggy.
Wasn't time.
All the same, I think we should have thanked him.
We'll thank him after the war. Come on.
You know, there's still far too many possibilities.
Well, let's narrow it down.
How?
Well, which house has been buying more food than usual? On the ration or the black market, doesn't matter which. Has there been more activity than you'd expect? Who's had visitors from outside the area? Shouldn't be difficult.
No, but it would all take time.
Of course.
We know it was an old house. Every time the old oak door below me creaked open, my heart leapt into my mouth. Was it the Gestapo?
So an old house and more than one story.
Or a loft. Did you check on the doctors?
Yes, there are 4 doctors in this area. Well, 5 if you include Saint-Angras. Now, 3 of them have built their own houses within the past 10 years. The 4th lives in a bungalow, so there's no loft. And the 5th is a bachelor. No wife, no children. Well, at least not around here.
And that's all?
Well, there is old Dr. Paquette.
Paquette? Marat?
He's retired. He's an eccentric. Lives by himself and breeds butterflies.
Well, there's the bit about the German. Oh, yeah, as the German walked up the path, not only the dogs barked in protest, but the cows started bellowing too. It was as if the whole place was protesting against the conquest of their beloved country.
Yes, I noticed that.
Well, how many people around here keep cows?
Just about everyone. Except doctors. Well, it's hardly hygienic, is it? A doctor keeping a cow. He keeps pigs, too, isn't there? Isn't there something in there about eating a pork chop and trying to forget that 2 days before the supplier of my chop had woken me at dawn, grunting below my little window? And I presume he doesn't mean that the doctor was grunting at dawn.
So Marat isn't a doctor?
No.
All right, then what about this? As I turned to leave, Dr. Marat pressed their package into my hand, crisp French bread and fresh farm butter that had been given him as a payment.
But it saves taxes. A lot of the peasants pay their bills that way, even to doctors.
You just said he isn't a doctor.
That's right, and he isn't a farmer either. Farmers round here don't go around giving each other butter and wine.
Well, what else is there? He can't be a shopkeeper, not with cows and pigs. A peasant. A fairly rich peasant.
Oh, perhaps. In my experience, mind you, I'm speaking as a Parisian, but in my experience, the French peasant is selfish, greedy, grasping, and avaricious. That'd be a most unusual peasant who'd help to hide an escaping prisoner. Except, of course, for a very large sum of money. And the American wasn't even a relative. They do sometimes hide relatives. Of course, they still charge them, but Slightly less.
So, we're back where we started.
I wouldn't say that.
1, 2, 3, go. Ah, that's it. Scissors, beats, tape, plus. No, that's the tape. Oh, all right. 1, 2, 3, go. That's one to me. 26, 25. First to be up 30. 1, 2, 3, go. Ah, 26 all. 26 all. 1, 2, 3.
Why don't they do something? They probably are, but they might tell us day after bloody day.
1, 2, shut up! Yeah, 28, 27.
They said we were to keep quiet.
Oh, for God's sake, there's only the family out there. No one can hear us.
We're not supposed to open that!
Oh, Tommy! Hold on, old man.
You have to go.
No, I don't have to.
Stay with me tonight.
No.
Why not?
I'm tired of creeping upstairs. I am tired of being secretive. Albert!
Yes, I know.
Why don't you come back with me?
I can't leave her tonight.
Can you ever? Albert.
Get out.
Yeah, all right, all right.
I thought Germans never slept.
What do you want?
Well, I know where the house is.
Where is it?
How much is it worth?
Oh, yeah, I've been on to Berlin. It's all agreed. 1,000 francs for each German.
Yes, well, I wouldn't be surprised if the British wouldn't pay me more. Not to tell you, that's a decision that I've got to make. Who's more likely to win the war?
There's no question of who's going to win the war.
Oh, you think so? But I only know who's going to lose it, and that's France.
The future of France is as an ally of Germany.
In the 1,000-year Reich.
Yes.
Yes, well, I don't expect to live for 1,000 years. And if France is going to be an ally of Germany, then I don't think that I particularly want to.
I demand that you tell me that address.
You're not in a position to demand anything.
It was agreed.
I can change my mind. They're growing back now, but the Gestapo pulled them out for me.
I'm a Luftwaffe officer, not Gestapo.
They wanted to know the name of a man who'd knifed a German seaman, but I didn't tell them.
Did you know it?
Perhaps. You see, I'm a patriotic Frenchman. But the question is, what is France?
I don't know what you mean.
Well, I mean, is France a self-appointed, stiff-necked brigadier living in London who thinks that he's a reincarnation of Joan of Arc? Or is France a geriatric hero surrounded by crooks down here in Vichy? Personally, I don't think that it's either.
You said you would help me.
To catch smugglers, yes. Not airmen. It's all right. I will help you.
You can have the money as soon as the airmen are taken.
I don't want the money.
Well, what do you want?
Just a little souvenir. Like this.
That is part of my uniform.
Yes, well, surely you can always get another one. I might even put it in a picture frame, next to a cross of Lorraine that someone once gave me. And there is one other thing. I'll make any arrests. Is that understood?
Why?
Because any French citizen resident in the area of my sub-prefecture is going to be tried by a French court and not a German one. Smuggling's a civil offence.
Gestapo will want to interrogate them.
The Gestapo will not be involved.
Destroying the escape lines is a Gestapo responsibility.
You suffer from the great German defect of never seeming able to listen to what other people are saying. Now, I haven't mentioned escape routes. So if there are other people there from different parts of France, then what happens to them is up to you. But I mean you and not the Gestapo.
All right. I won't inform them.
I'm not doing this to help the Germans. I'm doing it to prove to the people who posted me here, and who tried to humiliate me, that I am capable of curbing smuggling, which none of them managed to do.
I understand.
So French smugglers are mine. Basque smugglers are mine. Any RAF airmen or French resistance people from outside this area, they are yours. If you catch any.
I accept your terms. Now, where is it?
Here. Next to the last house on the road leading north out of Bideret. The owner's name's Pierre Gerard Cuvier. Used to be a socialist deputy once. His wife's called Cécile, and they've got 2 children, and they're both at the infant school at Combo-les-Bains.
You're sure of this?
Well, from what it said in the manuscript, the time it took for the house must have
We
looked like...
can't afford mistakes. All this, you know, it's not proof.
I know.
And he isn't a doctor?
He's a vet. And his wife was out shopping, and she has bought more food than usual. She also bought 4 pairs of espadrilles, rope-soled shoes they use for climbing in the mountains.
They have children?
Yes, but these were large sizes. They were larger than her husband takes. I have checked.
How much longer are we going to be here?
What are you laughing at? I dreamt the war was over. Only nobody told us.
That's were. Damn it, we're only a couple of miles from the Spanish frontier. Can't be that difficult to get over. Let's give them one more day. If there's still no joy after that, we'll slope off after it's dark and damn the guides.
Yes, just head due west. It's no problem.
We wouldn't have a hope.
So, if we move off about midnight, we could leave the transport down the road and do the rest on foot?
Yes, but we'll still need a couple of dozen men to surround the place. We'll just have to wait for extra men to get here from Dax.
No.
Sir?
We're going now.
We can only raise half a dozen men.
Yes, so there'll be some Germans with us. Should be enough.
I didn't think we'd be moving so quickly.
Nor will anyone else. That's why we're doing it. So if someone is taking some money on the side, he won't have time to gossip about it, will he? The cost, I want you to organise a lorry for the prisoners. And would you just make sure that you do it without letting the whole of the station know about it, hmm? Right. Oh, and there's one other thing. Now, we're there to arrest smugglers. Now, if there's anyone else there from outside this area, British or French, it doesn't matter which, then they're not our concern. What happens to them is up to the Germans. But if you see a German mistreating any French resident from this area, then you have my permission to step in and stop them. In any way you like. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Right.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
You're on lunch?
Hey, we going? Yes, you're leaving tonight.
Shut up!
We'll leave just before midnight, and that's when I'll introduce you to your guide. From then on, you do exactly as he says.
Of course.
So you've been doing your exercises as you were told.
Well, sort of.
If you haven't, you'll be very tired by the time you get to Spain, and the guide won't wait for any of you.
We'll be all right.
Now, wear these clothes I've brought and everything else you've got. In the mountains, you can get frostbite even at this time of the year. You'll be given food and water to take with you. I'll give you the money for the guide. You give it to him the moment he hands you over to the next courier in Spain, not before.
Don't you trust him?
Oh, I trust him to take you across. But I don't want him to think he'll ever get paid unless he does his job properly. Now, if I were you two, I'd try taking things a bit more seriously. Better all get some rest.
So just after 2.
Yes, but your watch is bust.
No, it's working.
I must be later than now.
It's 2 o'clock.
You're early.
Where's the money?
I pay you when they're across, not before.
You pay me now. The Germans are here with the French police.
There's 2 over there, look.
There's 3 just coming through this. That's 5, 6, 7. There's 30
hell.
John's with us. What are we going to do?
Cherries!
We don't have time to get ready. Go.
We can't just leave them.
Give me the money. Look, we buy our way out. Come on.
And the family?
The police have their names anyway. They won't be shot. Who was more important? You or a few evaders?
What about us?
Yes, just wait and keep quiet.
But the Cherries are here!
Trust me. You've got to trust me.
Come on. Come on in. Take this.
Stay away from the window, you'll get shot!
Raise your hands, please. Lacoste. Stop! Right, move.
They sold us out.
No one sold you out. Now collect your things. Out.
Hold this. Take it.
What are you doing?
Friends and favors cost money. Now, Maurice knows we're here somewhere. If there's no money, he will betray us. I will go to pay him.
Why should I trust you?
Same reason they trusted you. There's no alternative.
I'll do that. Join the others.
Anything?
No, sir.
Now we just wait until we are sure they have gone. Probably safe now. Do you want to risk it?
Yes.
Let's move out through the barn.
So it was you, Barrow. And you got a pretty young lady with you, too. How much did you pay Maurice? As much as that. I'm sorry about your friends. I wouldn't worry about them too much if I was you.
In Gestapo hands?
Well, they won't be visiting the Gestapo. The German officer's given me his word on it.
And you believe it?
Well, in this particular case, yes, I do. We have an understanding.
What happens now?
No, I'm going into Biarritz. Would you like a lift to the railway station? There's nothing to worry about. You're quite safe.
And Baroya?
I haven't seen him this time. And I do mean this time.
Will they be interrogated?
Yes, of course. But not in the way you mean. And I doubt if any of them will give you away.
What, after I just left them there?
Yes, well, that, I'm afraid, is going to be your problem.
Thank you.